What's up, YouTube? Big Daddy here. This is going to be a little bit of a different video today. I thought I would let you guys get to know me. If you're interested. If you're looking for a food review, well, this one's going to be kind of like a food review, but also a little bit more of a mukbang. I went out to Subway, and I picked up one of their signature wraps, the one I haven't tried, which was the Southwest Chipotle signature wrap. Got that on the tomato basil wrap, and that's got roast beef, lettuce, tomato, jalapenos, guacamole, and cheddar cheese, I believe. And the meat is warmed, but the wrap is hot. If I can block some of the sun here. There we go. Get a good look at it there. So this is going to be 50 things you guys didn't know, or you might not know, about me. And this is going to be part 1 of 2. I just kind of thought, if I do all 50 in one video, it's going to be a really long video. So I think we're going to do 2 videos. I don't know if they're going to be back-to-back. I might do one this week and one next week, just to guys keep you in a little bit of suspense. And I eat while I talk. First of all, let me say, how you guys doing? I hope you're having a good day. So, boy, this is good. If you guys haven't tried the signature wraps at Subway, you should go check them out. This one's a good one, too. So, number 1. I've mentioned Chicago many times. You see me wearing a Cubs shirt almost in every other video because I love to wear it. I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy. So I'm always wearing a shirt, and I have a lot of Cubs shirts. So one of the things I want to say is I grew up in a suburb of Chicago. I grew up in a town called Roselle, Illinois. I went to high school in Roselle, went to grade school in Roselle. You know, there was these great places that used to be there that are no longer there that I used to hang out at all the time. The ice cream shop, the pizza place, you know, all these great places there that I grew up appreciating my love of stuffing my pie hole. But yeah, so that's one thing you may not have known about me. And by the way, I look up here because I got a piece of paper. I don't have it all up here in my memory. I just have a piece of paper. So that was kind of 1 and 2. 3, I sang in the high school choir. Freshman and sophomore year, I was not really fond of school, and I thought it was kind of boring, and I didn't really like it that much. And junior year, I decided to sign up for the choir because I knew I liked to sing, and that kind of turned things around for me. I really started to enjoy going to school more. I had some fun with doing the singing in the choir, and it was lots of fun, and I enjoyed it. One of the things I used to do a lot is I used to call in sick a lot. Not because I was sick, just because I didn't want to go to school. Sometimes I would fake it. Sometimes my mom would just call me in because I didn't feel like going. And she didn't really put her foot down that much, and I got away with it. So, but the problem is I got in trouble when I started going to choir because I had a teacher senior year who basically called me out for missing too many days in class, and he kind of basically said to me, "If you miss any more school, I'm going to kick you out of the choir." And so that put a stop to it because the only reason I liked going to school was because of that choir. So, and lunch, you know. But so you know, I give that guy a lot of credit. His name was his name's not important. I don't want to get him involved if he doesn't know about it. But he was a really great teacher. He was really inspirational to me. And anybody who went to school with me in the choir and they knew who he was, you know who he was. But that's pretty cool. He was a really good guy. So, number 4, I played Little League Baseball. Yes, I did play sports as a child. I was not always the giant food eating person that I was. I was always a little chubby kid, but I played sports. I was pretty good at baseball. I really enjoyed playing baseball. Baseball was my first love. And I also, believe it or not, I also played basketball. I was terrible at it. I think I made 10 points the whole season. But, man, it's getting hot in here. Whew. I played Little League Baseball from the age of 7 till about 15. I tried out for high school baseball, and the coach basically said, you know, he's like, you got a good arm, you can hit, but I need guys who can run, and that is not you. And he was right, because I was last in everything. So that's where my baseball career ended. Let's see. I started working at the age of 13. Now, obviously, legally you're not allowed to work in Illinois till 16. I mean, you could work with a permit at 15, but 16 is legal working age. So these were off the books kind of jobs. You know, like I started at 13. I was working washing dishes and pans and stuff in a local Italian bakery around the corner from my house. The guy was a nice guy and all, but sometimes he didn't have a lot of money to pay. I mean, I only made $1 an hour. It wasn't like he was paying me a fortune, but he paid me in donuts. And of course, as a little kid, I was like, free donuts, yay! So sometimes I would get a few bucks, sometimes I would get donuts. It wasn't the most glamorous job in the world. It was really kind of dirty and sticky and messy, but I was doing it on my own, and I was making my own money, and I was kind of proud of that, so that was cool. I also did paper routes as a kid. I washed dishes around at the age of like 15 at a Chinese restaurant. The funny thing is my brother washed dishes at the same Chinese restaurant. In fact, I think he worked there a little longer. He kind of became friends with the owners, and he was there for a while, but I didn't really like that job that much. The whole wet Chinese food thing at that age, it just grossed me out. I just couldn't handle it. And at 16, I went to work for McDonald's for 2 years. But I'm not going to go into my whole career. You'll get more on that in a little while. Well, it wasn't very uncommon. I should say it was common for me to have, from the ages of 16 till about 22, it was common for me to have 3 to 4 W-2s every year. And some of them were different because I kind of had the attitude at that age that, hey, this is not my career. This is just a way to make money. And if my boss is a jerk, then I am just going to quit. And I'm just going to tell him where to stick it. I just didn't like, pretty much it was a means to an end. A job was a way to make money, and that's all I cared about. I wasn't really concerned about work ethic or burning bridges or any of that stuff at the time. I didn't get really more into that until I went to college. Music. Country music is my favorite kind of music. If I'm going to turn on the radio and listen to music, more than likely, I'd say 80% of the time it's going to be country music. I started listening to country music by listening to Garth Brooks in the 90s, and I just kind of evolved. I got into more and more artists, and now I just kind of listen to any kind of country music. I'm not really big into the old school. Some old school stuff I like, but I'm really more into the more modern artists. 90s artists, 2000, you know, those are like my sweet spot as far as I'm concerned. The newer stuff, some of the newer stuff I like. Some of the newer stuff now with the rap in the country, I hate that. That's not country music to me. To me personally, if you like it, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But it's just not my thing. But the other 20% of the time, you know, because you'll find me listening to 80s rock. You'll find me listening to Michael Bublé. I'll listen to Josh Groban. I mean, Frank Sinatra. I'll play Dean Martin for a whole day. You know, I'm all over the place. I like all kinds of music, but country music would be my favorite. Let's see. Oh, I've only been in one fist fight, one real fist fight. As a little kid, I was in a few little scuffles with neighbors and stuff, but I don't count those. But I've been in one real fist fight, and that was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and the guy was a senior. And we were in a shop class, it was like a graphics class. And the metal shop was next door to our room. So this idiot went into the metal shop, picked up a handful of metal shavings from the metal shop, and he came into the graphics room, and we had these light tables so you could do your graphics tracing and stuff. And he dropped all these metal shavings onto the table, and one of them bounced from the table up into my eye. And of course, without even thinking, I said, who the you-know-what did that? And he said, I did. And I said, knock that stuff off, you MNFer. And of course, I called him out in front of all of the other seniors in the class and all of his friends. And so that was, I guess, the wrong thing to do to this guy. And he said, you and me in the park after school, yeah. Kind of typical, silly high school stuff. But the funny thing is, all day long, I kept hearing, I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to fight this guy. And I had no plans to meet the guy. But by the end of the day, I was pretty much backed into a corner where I had to fight the guy. So, and we were both bigger guys. We weren't like in shape at all. And so we both show up. We're at this park. And it was just this weird fight where we would fight for a little while, just swinging wildly. No one hit anybody. I think he ripped my shirt. I think I hurt my thumb. And then we'd take breaks because we were both so out of breath. But at one point, he came running at me. And I don't know what I did, but I kind of closed my eyes and swung for the fences. And I connected with his eye. And I hear the whack of the punch. And then I hear, ooh, because there was like a crowd around us. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing people yelling, there's cops coming, cops coming. And we all kind of scattered. So essentially, the next day, one of my friends saw him at a Dairy Queen and said, dude, you totally won that fight yesterday. And I said, no, I didn't. I said, it wasn't even, I said, I barely hit the guy. I think I hit him once. He goes, yeah, that one time you hit him in the eye, his eye's all closed shut and you don't have any marks on your face. So you won. And of course, that story changed from I hit him once to I kicked his you-know-what to I karate kicked him and all this other crazy stuff. So I won one fight with one punch with my eyes closed. I'm tough. Chuck Norris, watch out. Let's see. I have 3 siblings. One, my younger brother, my first younger brother, I'm the oldest, who's 3 years younger than me, has the same birthday as I do, 3 years apart. My other 2 siblings are twins. So essentially, my mother had 4 kids and 2 birthdays. Lucky her. So in a way, because she only had to buy, she had to buy 2 presents on one day and 2 presents on another day. She was done. Is that where she has really good timing? Number 11. My favorite food is pizza. I love pizza. If I had the option of eating pizza 3 or 4 days out of the week, I totally would. I even like crappy pizza. Now, obviously, everybody has a what they won't stand for point. And I'm from Chicago, so I'm a little bit spoiled when it comes to pizza. Deep dish would be my favorite pizza. And there's a couple different kinds of deep dish I like. There's a place by my house called Fat Ricky's that has a pizza that literally, you pick it up, it weighs like 12 pounds. If you pick up a large deep dish with just, I usually get a little sausage, roasted red pepper, garlic, 12 pounds. Then there's Lou Malnati's, which is more of a chain in the Chicago area. And you can also ship it, and a lot of people know about it. It's more famous. Now, that's my favorite chain deep dish pizza. Not nearly as heavy, much lighter, but crunchier crust. So awesome. Now, there's a big debate in Chicago always between who's got the best pizza. You will rarely find a whole large group of people that will agree because there's so many pizza places in the area. And then there's people who just like Domino's and Pizza Hut and Little Caesars and all that stuff. And I like those too. And there's Jets. I would say Jets is my favorite fast food pizza. So you got Jets, Lou Malnati's, and Fat Ricky's, which would be more local, okay? But there's also, you know, like I like thin crust pizza. There's this place in Naperville that makes a New York-style pizza that is to die for. It's called Pop's. Pop's Little Pizzeria in Naperville, Illinois. That place has these garlic knots that you can order with it. That comes with a marinara sauce. I swear to God, if the guy bottled it up and put it in a jar, I would drink it. It's so friggin' good. It's just, I've told him that too. He laughs every time I tell him. He thinks I'm kidding. I'm not. It's that good. Number 12. I have a weird talent for untying knots. I've just learned this since I became a father. My son John is very uncoordinated, and he's constantly getting his cords all knotted up, or his anything that has to do with strings or twist ties or anything. Usually it's cords, and it's always stuff all knotted up like crazy. And I have a really, I think it's just because I have patience. And I'm able to calmly just kind of sit there and not get frustrated and just logically think through the knot and slowly pull things. Because if you get frustrated and you start and get mad, you're never going to untie. So, yeah, that's weird. Let's see. Oh, here's another weird one. You know how people hate nails on a chalkboard? All right. I hate that. I really hate that. But I also don't like terracotta pots, like flower pots. The touch of them, it's a texture thing. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. I get like, just thinking about it, I get the heebie-jeebies. Some people, they don't like other, you know, certain types of food in their mouth, some like tin foil or whatever. Terracotta pots, any kind of frosted glass, if it's a real gritty frost on it, it bugs me. That whole goes back to the whole nails on a chalkboard kind of thing. I don't like touching chalk. Oh, it just gives me, it freaks me out. It gives me the willies. Let's see. Oh, I almost dropped out of high school when I was 16. My parents were having financial issues. My dad, I think, had just started getting sick. And bills were not getting paid. Utilities were getting shut off. There was a period of time when I was a junior in high school where in the middle of the winter, I was taking cold showers because we didn't have gas to heat the water. Had heat because it was electric at the time. No gas, so cold shower. Standing out at the bus stop right after you take the nice cold shower. That's fun. But, thankfully to my mother, she told me no. I was not allowed to quit school, and I had to go to school and graduate. Once I graduated, I could do whatever I wanted. So I did. And I just lived with the cold showers. Let's see. I've had a lot of weird jobs in my life. At one time, I think I counted, and this goes back to that thing I said about finding jobs, quitting jobs, finding jobs, quitting jobs. In my younger days, I used to get these jobs, and then I'd hate them, and I'd quit. So I have done, let's see. I have sold, let's see, what's on my list here? Oh, I've done vacuum cleaner sales, stereo sales. I've sold cookbooks door to door. Used to go with a box full of cookbooks in my car. You'd walk into a business, say, hey, I dropped this cookbook off. Here's this sign-up form. Feel free to look it over. I'll come back in a couple of days and pick it up. If anyone wants any, they can fill it out and leave a check. That's how we made our money. That job didn't last long. I think I did that for 2 days. Impulse items. Same kind of job. A little more success with this one. Same thing. You walk around with a cardboard box. You go business to business. Inside, I could either have knockoff Tupperware or knife sets or calculators. You know, crazy things like that. I sold Electrolux vacuum cleaners. I used to do demos in the stores. I used to do them, go to house. In fact, I used to take the shampooer that I had. It was like my demo unit. And then I would go try to sell people carpet cleanings using my demo unit, which you weren't supposed to do, but I did. I once tried to run a window washing business until I figured out that I could not compete with the competition. I wanted to sell windows $5 cleaning, $5 inside and out per window, and there were people out there selling it for $1 inside and out for window, and they were much faster than I was too. So, and they did a better job. So I didn't do it. I've owned lots of different businesses. We'll get into more of that later. Let's see. Number 16. This goes back to that impulse items thing. So the time I had the knockoff Tupperware in my box, I was down at a place where I shouldn't have been trying to sell the Tupperware. I was in a bad part of town. This was a part of town where there was some criminal activity taking place, and there was also some ladies of the night who would hang out down there, and they were ladies of the any time of day for $20 kind of ladies. So I was walking around. I was like a teenager, you know. I'm walking around the street just completely minding my own business with my box of Tupperware, and this girl comes up to me, you know, and she says, "Hey, is there something I can do for you?" And I didn't know what she meant, you know, because I was kind of naive at that time. And I just was all about selling this Tupperware. And I just looked her right in the eye and I said, "No, but let me tell you what I can do for you." And I sold her Tupperware. She said she bought the Tupperware because she thought it was the most hilarious thing that this little teenage kid from the suburbs was selling her Tupperware on a street corner where it was known that there were prostitution. So yeah, I once sold Tupperware to a hooker. Let's see. I had my first girlfriend at 14. I met her at freshman in high school. It lasted all of 3 months. She cheated on me with this other guy. Let's see. I have lost more than, I'm not going to go into any details on that. I lost more than 50 pounds 3 times in my life. First time was when I was a senior in high school. I lost like 60, 70 pounds that year, and teachers thought I was doing coke. And I said, no, I'm just doing a diet. A lot of less eating, more activity. And, you know, when you're 18, it's real easy to lose the weight like that. I also lost 80 pounds on a diet, a low-carb Atkins diet. And that was right before I met my current wife. And let's see. Oh, I also lost like 50, 60 pounds during a competition. Well, no, I lost 56 pounds a couple years ago when I was doing isogenics. And I probably could still be doing isogenics. I think I still have some, actually. But it's expensive, and there's only so many protein shakes you can drink before you just feel like gnawing your own arm off. It's just so boring. So boring. So there you go. I have lost weight. I do know how to do it. It's just a matter of doing it. I have been married twice in my life. The first marriage lasted 1.5 years. I was 31. She was 21. It was no bueno. That's all I'm going to say. It was 1.5 years. I wouldn't change it. I don't regret it because I am the person I am today. Because of it, I found out what I didn't want in my life. But it is 1.5 years of my life that I would rather like to have back. It was just rough. My second marriage is still ongoing, and she's a wonderful woman. And I love her to death, and she's given me 2 kids, and I wouldn't change it. Let's see. I met my current wife on AOL, and our first date was at Chili's. And the funny thing is, when I was so freaked out about women and all the things I didn't want, that I told myself I was going to ask any girl I dated a whole bunch of, like a questionnaire, like a whole bunch of questions. And I wrote them all down, kind of like I wrote down this list. And I literally sat there and I asked her all these questions. She said she went home that night and thought I was crazy. And she thought he's too paranoid and there's no way he's going to call me again, because she thought it was just too old for her. I'm 7 years older than my current wife. But I really liked her, and she answered the questions, and I couldn't believe she answered them. But it all worked out pretty well. I mean, I ask her crazy questions like, have you ever been on drugs? Do you drink a lot? Are you on any mood-altering substances right now, or have you ever been? You know, do you need therapy? You know, crazy personal questions on a first date, and she didn't run away. Either she's insane or she really liked me. Let's see. Yeah, I once saw a guy get killed on a motorcycle. And the reason I bring this up is because before that, I really wanted to have a motorcycle, own a motorcycle. I love, every year in the springtime, I'd see the guys come out in their motorcycles. I was crazy over them. After I saw that, I never wanted to ride one again. I still think motorcycles are awesome. Don't get me wrong. And if you love them, that's great. But I witnessed something that I don't think I ever want to see again, and it was horrendous. And it kind of changed my attitude on motorcycles. I don't think motorcycles in general are dangerous. I just think that it's more dangerous to drive a motorcycle than it is to drive a car. It's just much harder to see them, especially at night. Let's see. Back in my teenage years, like from 16 to 21, I was incredibly addicted to playing pool. There was a pool parlor by my house named Harold's Pool Parlor. I used to play pool there almost every single day, 7 days a week for the 5 years. I lived there. It was like my home away from home. I had my own pool cue. I had several pool cues. I tried to get into tournaments. There was even talk at one time that in my head, I was gonna become a professional pool player. I learned very quickly that took a lot more than just playing pool for fun at night and hustling a few games. You really needed to play a lot more than I did. But I just had so much fun. All my friends were hanging out there. This pool parlor was people could smoke there, but they didn't sell alcohol. They had a jukebox, they had food. Not a lot of food. They had certain, like, pizza, Tombstone pizza and candy and stuff like that. But there was no alcohol, so you didn't have to be 21. And so, like, it was a teenage hangout, and I just would play pool with all my friends, and I would gamble, and some days I would win, and some days I would lose. And then it went to 24 hours, and I can remember coming out of there after playing pool till 4 or 5, 6 in the morning, walking out with the daylight. I went in, it was dark, and I came out, it was daylight. I mean, I was really, really into playing pool for a long time. Got pretty good at it, too. I had a couple friends who were better than I was some days and not so much on other days. It just depended on the night. Some nights you got it, some nights you don't. And if you play a lot, but it was just such a fun time. And it was very social. It was way before iPhones and the internet. The internet was there, but I wasn't on it, so it was cool. Let's see. In fact, I flunked out of community college, the first college I tried, because there was a rec center down the hall from where my class was, and they had pool tables. So, of course, where was I? I wasn't in class. I was playing pool, gambling, $1 a game or $10 a game or whatever, in playing pool. I wasn't in class. So, yeah, that was the one bad thing about it. But I had lots of fun. And then, like any other fad, it kind of faded. And then the last thing I'm going to say for this video, because we're almost at 30 minutes. Wow. I was a waiter during all those years. I waited tables at IHOP. I waited tables at a Holiday Inn. That's where I started. Well, actually, I started waiting tables at a pizza place, but I went to a pizza place, then a Holiday Inn. I learned how to be a good waiter at a Holiday Inn. There was a guy there who took his time to explain, you know, you need to greet the customer. You need to come back after you take the order. You need to come back after you serve the food and pretend like you're interested in their dinner. See if they want any more drinks. I didn't do anything. I used to, when I first started, I used to just say, "What's your order?" And I bring in the food and I walk away. So, and then I went to IHOP, and I get the job at IHOP because there was this girl who worked there who I thought was totally hot, and I even remember her name. Her name's Rhonda, and nothing ever happened. But she looked like the Swiss Miss girl. You know, the Swiss Miss Coco, because the IHOP uniforms back then had like these poofy, almost kind of Dutch look to them. So she reminded me of the Swiss Miss Coco girl. She was so hot, but nothing ever happened. She just laughed at me because I was like, you know, I was like 18, and I think she was like 24. She just thought I was cute, you know, for trying, anyways. And then I got a job at a place called Wags, which was owned by Walgreens, which was their version of Denny's. And then worked in a fine dining restaurant selling steaks and seafood and stuff like that. And then after a while, I decided to go to college and get out of the whole waiting tables here. But the great thing about that whole period was it was the same time I was playing pool, and every night you'd get tips. So I would take all that tip money that I would make, sometimes 50, 60, 80 bucks, 100 bucks, and I'd just go blow it all playing pool, and sometimes I'd come home with more than I had. Sometimes I came home with a lot less. Sometimes I'd have to owe people money. But, yeah, I was really into it. I mean, this was back during the time when there was an airbrush. Everybody was airbrushing stuff, you know, and showing my age. So I got this white jacket and had a 9-ball rack on it, and it had 2 pool cues crisscrossed, and said, "Want to play some?" It was just the greatest. It was the greatest time, man. And I had such a fun time playing pool that I just could not stop for a long time. And that's pretty much it for the part 1 of the 50 things you didn't know about Big Daddy. So if you like this video, if you found it amusing at all and you want to hear the rest, leave me comments down below. Hit like, leave me comments down below. Tell me what you like, what you didn't like. If you don't like it, you know, then, you know, do it down. Give me a thumbs down. I'm trying to get an idea. I don't want to change the content. I'm still eating, you know, but I want to do a couple little different things, a little more personal, if you will, and see how this goes. So that's pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, tap that notifier bell so you know when the next video is coming out. And remember, folks, before you take the first bite, you got to stuff it in your pie hole. These are good. Try one.